Yeah, I've worked in the digital sort of space for the past 18 years, which makes me feel really old. But I used to be a customer of Siteimprove. I used to be like a web manager, so I've got probably some of the scars you might have from things like digital transformation projects and web redesigns and things like that. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. So my name is Michi Schneider. I'm now with over 6 years with Magnolia, and before I was also on the other side of the table, being kind of on the customer side of CMS companies. And yeah, I'm looking forward to show you a bit what I'm actually doing on a day-to-day basis.
Awesome. So if I can get all of these up. So really, I want to just talk about how our search behaviour has changed in the past years. So if I go back to when I was at school, because I'm old, I was using something called Microsoft Encarta. I don't know if anybody's heard of that, maybe the English and the Americans, some guys grinning at me over there, but it was a CD drive you put into your sort of PC and you would search for information that way. A little bit like an early Wikipedia, I suppose. But if we look at maybe the last couple of years, and the biggest shift is that we've moved from searching for information to asking for answers. It's much quicker. So with search, our trust was built on layers. Ads told us what to buy. Reviews to confirm a decision about a product, for example. Influencer recommendations or forums were there to validate our decisions. So we basically had to sort of assemble these puzzle pieces together to get our own information. So obviously with ChatGPT and the LLMs, it is what's happening now. So if we look at that sort of stage, the entire process has collapsed into one single process. So we go to an LLM and we ask it what's the best option, who should I trust, what's the right answer. So instead of us doing the research, obviously AI now does all of this for us, and it pulls the information, from many different sources, evaluating them and giving us a clear recommendation. So this basically gives us a shift from discovery-based browsing to answer-based consumption. So this really is the foundation of AEO and changes who gets visibility and how trust is earned. I asked my 9-year-old if he knew what ChatGPT was, and he said it's a bit like Google, isn't it? So pretty good, I think, for a 9-year-old. My 76-year-old dad wouldn't have a clue, though, but that's something different. So authority is the new battleground. Everyone's talking about how could you become authoritative, right? So with this new shift, authority is the new battleground instead of search and search volume for a number of keywords on a page. So you have to have consistency across your brand and your content, because if you contradict yourself and other authorities within the space, you're going to lose authority and you're going to lose trust. Content has to now provide answers, so it should now sort of teach instead of sell. You've got to have more information that's relevant, really. And authority compounds across your whole content, not just one page, but as I've just said, you need to have an ecosystem of relevant content. So the old world, make sure these are coming up, because I forget about these. The old world is relevance, really. So if we think about what search used to be, say, 10 years ago, it's just going to be a list of web pages. No product photos, no reviews, no quick summaries from experts. Meaning you're going to have to click into each page and do your own research. So search really gives you loads of options, but it doesn't help you understand or evaluate any of them. So, the new world is all about building trust. So it's about building trust instead of just having the right number of keywords, which is relevance. So we start to build trust by having a consistent brand experience with accessible, user-friendly content that provides users with a good user experience. So it's all about that, having a good user experience. And I love the example of, we're here to serve people, even if it is AI, it's still a person, at the end of that. So, what I should have said actually is I'm a solution consultant at Siteimprove. So, my role really is to speak to clients, customers, prospects, and really understand what their challenges are and how we can help them overcome their challenges. So I get told the problems that customers have all the time. It's part of the job, really. So I've summed up 3 of these. Maybe it resonates with some of you. But these are some of the challenges that you need to protect yourself against by building trust. So the first one is the vanishing click. So old metrics, such as clicks and impressions, are becoming more incomplete. So if I think about an example for me, I recently bought a Ninja air fryer. I think they're pretty awesome. It means I can cheat when I cook a little bit. But, I went to ChatGPT. I asked it questions like, what's the best air fryer? What's the cheapest place to buy it? Because I don't want to spend money. And basically, it gave me a load of information. And I clicked onto Amazon and purchased it. So I didn't even go to the Ninja website. So the vanishing click, is quite important, and you really want to make sure, you're cited, for example. The black box is another one that we're calling the black box, but basically this is about not knowing if the information is being presented is new, old, or even correct content. So some of the organisations I've spoken to is the National Health Service in England, so hospitals and things like that. So what they're finding now is people with ailments are going to a ChatGPT and they're asking questions like, why am I sick? And it will obviously give you a load of information. Now, the challenge that they've got is this information even correct information that they're actually giving to people? I mean, I think all GPs hate like a Dr. Google, so I don't know what they're thinking about a Dr. ChatGPT or something like that. But again, you've got to make sure that the information is going to be relevant, and you need to build trust with this as well. Finally, the erosion of your authority. So you don't know who has the authority in an LLM. Is it you or is it your competitor? So the challenge marketers have here is if they're not the source that AI trusts, simply it's going to choose somebody else. So whoever publishes the clearest, most machine-learnable, authoritative content becomes the brand that AI highlights, and possibly the brand that users will only see. So you really have to become that source that AI trusts, not only for humans, but for machines as well. So it's now about building trust. Making sure I've got this up here. It's now about building trust and not about building rankings. So if you think about the fundamental shift of trying to get one landing page to rank, you now have to build this ecosystem of content around specific topics to get mentions and citations. So it's just a different way of thinking. So, what's the connection now between SEO and accessibility? I mean, obviously, I'm here to talk a bit about accessibility and how it interconnects. But if you think about writing for your audience, right, you've got to create a good user experience. So write for your audience, not your coworker. Standardize a reading level if it's possible. So I've got 8th grade written down here, but obviously it depends on the content. When we speak to universities, for example, there might be a lot of sort of more complicated or longer content there. But make it as easy as possible for your landing pages. Give them the best opportunity of doing well, really. So avoid unnecessary jargon, explain acronyms, and focus on a clear structure of how the content reads. If it's a huge page with loads of information, no headings, you want to make it as simple as possible. And if you think about screen readers as well, and this is purely for sort of accessibility, with an accessibility lens, screen readers read content like LLMs and not like traditional search or a crawler. So accessibility and good governance, really, it's not just about accessibility, it's having good governance, it's all about UX. It matters a lot more now than just compliance. I was talking to the Renticle guys about this a moment ago, actually. Somebody's nodding at me. So if your page isn't accessible, it's going to be a lot harder for the LLMs to read it. So the connection between search and accessibility from a coding point of view is good to have things like semantic HTML, a good heading structure, a logical order, and simple things like alternative text descriptions. So, really, it's all about a better experience promotes sharing. So, if you build pages with user experience at the forefront, it's easier for users to share your page as an authority. Links are important for SEO, and SEO is not going away, in my opinion. But brand citations are important for AI search, so you want to position your brand as authority, and that will help, with both of these points that we have up here. So, I've got to click something else. No. But, really, this is our pyramid. And, I like to think about accessibility being like the building blocks of success, a bit like a carbon atom in a way. But if you have accessible content, you've got accessible templates. You want to make sure that your templates are right. It could be like a booking journey. You want to make sure that that's accessible. And really, it's speaking to that audience. The next building block is technical SEO. And that could be simple things like broken links, misspellings, as well as SEO audit issues. And really, what this also can feed into, trying not to speak purely about our product, but if there is content style guide issues as well, you want to make sure you have a good brand experience and it's consistent. It's making sure that is all sort of within these first two, I would say. And once you've done that, that's sort of the building block of success for AI readiness. And then the next bit is the content strategy bit. So obviously there's a lot that goes into content strategy. You want to make sure that you're writing relevant content for your personas based on their pain points. And again, you want to create an ecosystem of content all around that. But if you do all of these together, that's what is going to help give you some topical authority. So, yeah, this is our platform. We have agents throughout our platform, actually, but really. So how you build a strong foundation for a good digital governance is leveraging Agentic AI to help scale processes efficiently and more effectively. So if you look at this sort of circle here, it's about looking at your processes, I would think. If there's a content creation process, when you start from a research point of view to creating the content, to writing a brief, logging into Magnolia, and then creating that web page, you want to make sure that you're doing it, within sort of the processes I've just gone through. So making sure your content is accessible, as this will act as the building block for AEO. Have good content hygiene ensures conversion blockers aren't created. Creating relevant content for SEO and AEO gives you discoverability, but basically it's about tying all of your efforts together with analytics, because that's going to help teams prove ROI. So it's great getting higher up a search engine. It's great getting maybe a mention or a citation within an LLM, but if you push that back to your website, ultimately you're going to want to make sure you get more subscriptions, more document downloads, whatever those sort of hard and soft conversions you may have on your websites. Over to you.
Thank you, Misha. Yes, what I missed before, what I'm actually doing here at Magnolia, so I'm handling our own website, blog, marketplace, partner portal, and obviously we also have to tackle the accessibility and technical SEO challenges we face, especially since last year. It was one of the key terms. And our tool of choice in this context is Siteimprove, meaning we can tackle much more topics like what Misha showed you in this pyramids graph about content strategy and authority, but I want to pick up the bottom here when it comes to accessibility and technical SEO, and want to move a bit from a strategic perspective more to an operational perspective. So in this case, the Siteimprove is showing you why you should do it, like in order to improve discoverability, authority, and accessibility. The question is, like, how do you do it? How do you fix that? And that's when Magnolia comes into play. Here are just a couple of examples about how you not just fix it on a page level, but on a content model level, meaning you fix an issue once on a page, that's cool, but maybe next time it pops up again in Siteimprove, meaning you need to take it again on your desk. The solution here is to put it into your content model, meaning you need to talk to your developers or talk to your processes to make sure it doesn't happen next time. So your structured data is according to the humans, but also to the machine audience. We also try to use as much as possible reusable components to make sure we don't put any random components on pages, but use accessible and technical SEO approved components. And as well as with the centralized SEO, that we have a good structure in place and don't need to put it again on a page level, but on a content model level. And one of the cool things about Siteimprove, it's already integrated into Magnolia. So here on the right side, you see the widget we have in the page app. And here you get a little glimpse on how it looks like on your landing screen. So you have the live page scores. You get the digital certainty index, which is basically a combination of all the rest. And here you see exactly how your page is performing in terms of accessibility, of quality, insurance, which is basically technical SEO, and SEO as well as policy if you want that.
Well, one thing we can add to this, actually, which I've realised you might not be using, is somebody asked a question about brand issues, tone of voice, things like that. That also can be pushed through into the CMS plugin, so something you might want to use.
This is something we will tackle right away next week.
For sure.
Yeah, but the cool thing is you don't need to switch to Siteimprove directly into backend. You can handle that all in Magnolia. And I walk you quickly through it. So what you can do is on the next tab here, you can do a pre-publishing view, which is actually a very cool feature. Before you're publishing a page, you can get a score and see your issues about, oh no, wait, sorry. This is the step before. So this is the current page, how it performs. So here you can see your different issues in terms of accessibility, of content, of technical SEO. And this is just a summary. But the next step is the pre-publishing view, meaning here you can see what issues you would face if you would publish your page directly right now. So this helps you to, for example, in this example, we can spot a misspelling right before we hit the publish. So we can go into the editor, change the word, and publish the page smoothly. That means, yeah. Michel?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, where I'm talking about technical readiness, if you've got a content creator, they may never log into our main platform. You know, their job is maybe to update the website ad hoc or you know, on a regular basis, but they then get the support from the platform really when it comes to the content creation issues that they may be doing, and that's
exactly
how customers use it.
And actually, not all of our users as well are looking into Siteimprove directly, so they're using our widget. Yes, and the next part here is the unpublished risk. And in this view, you see the scenario if you would unpublish the page right away, meaning you see here internal referencing pages where you need to change the links or fix the connection. So to make sure when you unpublish a page, there's no 404 or dead ends. Yeah, exactly. So this is also very helpful when there's, for example, a campaign is ending or we need to unpublish an analyst report.
Awesome. So a couple of key takeaways. You know, accessibility and governance is the new foundation for discoverability. You know, literally what we've been going through there. And authority is measured by trust, both for humans and machines. And AEO turns SEO into a conversation. And finally, AI agents are soon going to automate optimization and compliance. I mean, something we're releasing now is sort of a content optimization piece where we'll create the content for you on a page. We're building out an MCP server as well, so you know that also gives DXPs and CMSs like Magnolia. I'm assuming you're going to create this for everyone. The ability to connect and and the future, I think, when it comes to accessibility, actually for Siteimprove is when we're connecting up agent to agent. Is we want to automate accessibility fixes. That's something where, you know, as a company we want to get to as well. But yeah.
Exactly, and as you heard already yesterday and today as well, Magnolia is also going into the Agentic direction, and this is like a natural next step that Siteimprove and Magnolia are also working together in this context, that you can, within Magnolia UI, ask questions and chat basically with both systems and get solutions right away. And just, the key takeaway for me is that the why is happening in Siteimprove and the how is where you do it and execute it and enforce it in your content model in Magnolia. This is just a couple of more resources if you want to check them out. We didn't put any QR codes on this slide, but in the next page you will see that. One cool thing is we have also a product tour. If you want to click through, get a little basic understanding how Siteimprove and Magnolia are working together, please feel free. Also, you can find it on our website.
I mean, if you would like a digital insights report, you can scan that, take a picture of it, and we would do it. Although I now wish we had chips in the backs of seats because I think we'd get a bit more of an uptake on it. But yeah, I think that's it from us. Thanks for listening to us. Yeah. Sorry,
Thanks a lot.